last one here.
Oh, Kristen Wiig.
Kristen Wiig.
Is the water skier.
She is.
We know because of comedians and cars having coffee.
That's right. She loves to water ski.
So if you know Kristen Wiig and you know how to get a hold of her, let us know.
That fucking cookie.
It all comes back to the perfect cookie.
It does. No, but seriously, I mean, how many times have we laughed at Kristen Wiig?
So funny. Her little hands.
Yeah, that's like real people, fake hands. Yep. But seriously, if we could hang with Kristen Wiig for a day.
In the motorhome.
In the motorhome, free invite, Kristen Wiig.
Teach her how to water ski.
Teach her how to water ski. Maybe teach her how to do a deadlift.
Absolutely. I'd make her some cookies.
Make her some cookies,
Cupcakes,
some pickles. Maybe she likes pickles, kombucha.
I make really good pickles, kombucha.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, open invitation.
Your podcast guest is getting very tired.
This reminds me of Travis Moy with Bob Marley. You in the wrong spot. Because can you flip? See, I'm already. Can you flip my screen towards me so I can see what's going on? There we go. All right, I'm actually looking okay. How are you looking?
I don't know. I can't see myself. How do
Good.
I look?
No, you're looking good. Just fine. You can find me. We're not sponsored by Waterloo yet, but
we're not going to get sponsored by a sparkling
sip.
water company.
Why not? What's wrong with sparkling water? Can we talk about that on the podcast?
There's nothing wrong with it. It's that people drink only that. And there could be something because it messes with the phosphorus, which affects the calcium.
3, 2, 1. Okay, it's Marcus Brown. Welcome back to another episode of Between Two Ferns.
Dun, dun,
No?
dun.
Are we not doing that?
No.
We don't have any ferns set up.
We don't have ferns at our house, anywhere in our life.
My guest today, if I did continue with Zach's character, how many different ways can I screw up your last name? Jennifer LaBaw? LaBaw. Labowski.
We've heard LaBaw.
Mm-hmm. LaBaw. Yeah, we've heard it all. What are some of the best highlights for your last name? Hack.
I don't understand. It's literally, you just have to sound it out. There's not even anything that makes it look like it would be something different.
LaBaw.
L-A.
Yeah. And then
give it to me. L-A.
La.
B-A-W.
Ba. Like pa. But
yeah.
ba.
Yeah.
How about the time Trent Finlayson, when he was writing for the magazine? Tell me what happened there.
I forgot what he said, but he put it all in the Lake Powell episode completely wrong. Or was it the fitness, the exercise one?
I can't remember. Sorry, dude. But
it was great.
It was Le-Ba or La-Boo or something.
It was funny.
Yeah.
It was funny. Still like you, Trent.
Yeah, we still love you, buddy. Be fun to have him on the podcast.
Yeah,
Be fun to have him on the couch right now throwing tomatoes at us.
Right.
Yeah.
Rotten ones.
Speaking of tomatoes.
Tomato scale.
Tomato scale. That's what we call Rotten Tomatoes, which incidentally enough, I wonder what the rating would be on this podcast so far on the Rotten Tomatoes scale.
I'm going to say...
Because we haven't really nailed anything yet, except
your last name. You're about to.
Yeah. So, what are we talking about? What do you care about today? What do you want to talk about?
Just health and fitness and wellness.
That's bullcrap. You sound like Jake Abelson. Remember when I told you I did this podcast with Jake Abelson?
And all he talked about was...
All he talked about was trick skiing, slalom skiing, and training, gymnastics. And then after the mic stopped, he started asking me like, hey, do you want to see my Legos? Hey, do you want to drive my RC car? I was like, Jake, why didn't you talk about this on the podcast? And he's like, well, I thought I could only talk about water skiing.
No. So you asked what I care about, and in general, it's health, fitness, and wellness. But everything that I like to do falls into that category.
Okay, that makes sense.
For me.
I mean, I guess so. With that theme, what's the most recent thing that you've been that you went through? The most recent certification you went through. You want to talk about that?
Oh,
real quick?
Certification.
Well, yeah. I mean, if we're gonna talk,
yeah, for sure. Let's get into it.
So I would like to talk about or share with people some of the stuff with regards to how it can help them. Have
you even said my name yet, besides mispronouncing it, the last one?
Jennifer LaBaw?
Yeah.
Jenny LaBaw?
Okay.
Yeah, it's Jenny LaBaw. We're just sitting right outside our house in our motorhome / studio. In case you couldn't tell, it's a motorhome. It is. But yeah, some of the fun things that I think you can really help people with,
yeah,
or that they might want to hear about, is are things that not only will make them better skiers, but will make them feel better throughout their daily life and maybe live a little longer and stuff like that.
I like it. Yeah.
So, okay, maybe we should start with what are like the 3 biggest mistakes?
Oh, gosh.
Like 2 or 3 of the biggest mistakes you see skiers make from your perspective.
Movement-wise. Oh,
yeah.
Okay. I'm going to say number 1, you don't warm up. A lot of people don't warm up. Like you just like dive into the deep water start and hope that you don't pull something.
And that's a problem because?
There's just like a lot of steps that are missed as far as like prepping your muscles and prepping your joints, prepping your CNS to be able to actually perform. Central nervous system.
Okay.
To be able to perform instead of going from like desk jockey to 38 off and hoping that you don't tear things apart.
Yeah.
Know? So yes, on a serious note, really, like warming up. And when we did the face-to-face tour in 2009, I really didn't know anything about water skiing. And that was a mind-blowing thing that I saw, as people just did not warm up for their sets. Or if they did, it was like a couple leg swings and tug on the rope and go for it. And for the people I've worked with since our tour, I've worked with some people online since then programming, and they all say it makes or breaks their sets by getting prepped, which every other athlete that you think about, you guys, there's some type of a warm-up for the most part that's getting you ready to go.
Yeah. So how many skiers are you working with? Do you know about, or how many have you worked with throughout the years?
A lot of them.
A lot.
Currently, I'm working with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. 6 water skiers, I think. Personally, not in person, but remote.
And remote coaching. And I kind of have been working with Corey Vaughn, but you've been working with him for a couple of years?
Yeah, a couple of years, Mr. Corey Vaughn.
Thanks,
and his
Vaughn.
Beautiful bride, Amelia.
Yep. And he's seen some gains, at least off the water, and from like a strength standpoint, at least sounds like he has, unless he's totally lying to us.
No, I think for sure. And we were super fortunate to have them come visit us a couple weeks ago. And it was really good for me to see some other things that we can improve upon. And that's mobility. You know, that's the next piece. You're talking about the top 3 things. 1 is warm up. Number 2 is mobility. And by that, I mean joint function, basically. Be able to withstand, to maintain a position under load, to be able to stabilize joints, to be able to move joints through full range of motion. And that's something that everyone, including myself, there's things that we can improve upon. But working with Corey individually face-to-face was really good because I could see some of those things that we could improve upon. But also him as a professional athlete, a professional skier who works on his body and works on this, if he has this room for improvement, for sure the people that are sitting behind a desk or driving in traffic all day or have room for improvement. So
what are the like 2 or 3 joints, like if people only had 15 minutes a day to work on as far as flexibility and mobility, what are like the 2 or 3 main joints for water skiing? Because I mean, when I was skiing, seriously, I kind of didn't prioritize flexibility as much as I should, which is partially why my back's how it is, because I didn't have hip mobility and I didn't have thoracic spine, upper back mobility. But I didn't think it was a big deal. I just was like, well, I stay in the shape. I reach, you know, I don't get a trophy every time. Trophy. That doesn't happen to me. Yeah. But when I reach, I change shape a little bit. And then when I pull, I'm like stacked usually. Sometimes I get pulled out, but I don't really ever change shape too much. And that's how most skiers think. But so what are a couple joints that they could work on if they were serious about mobility?
Well, daily? I think the first number 1 is not just a single joint. It's your like you said, your thoracic spine. So your T-spine, which is your upper middle of your back. That most people sit at a desk or look at their phones and their shoulders are rounded and they're missing range of motion in their T-spine, but also inadvertently their shoulders. So, so having missing mobility in your T-spine definitely affects your low back.
How?
Because our spine is supposed to be mobile, move through a bunch of different ranges of motion, but also it should be stacked when we're skiing. And if you're not able to be stacked when you're skiing because your T-spine is rounded, you find that stability or that stacked position by arching your low back. And that's where low back injuries, from what I see, I think a big reason why low back injuries happen in water skiing.
So we need to drill down on this because a lot of coaches, or I've heard quite a few coaches throughout the years, myself included at one point. Not even just skiing, but even in wakeboarding, people cue when they're coaching to arch your back because it's a safe position. Like arch your back, gets the handle closer to your body, all that stuff. Why is arching your back bad?
Because if you're arching your back, you have let's talk about this real quick. There's extension is arching, right? When you're extending your low back. There's global extension, and global extension is where you have the entire spine is extended in a brace strong position, and then you have local extension where there's like a break in the spine, for lack of a better term. It's kind of like a
kink.
A kink, yeah, so, like a hose, like a kink, right?
So the spine, just because this is how I've understood it, the spine has segments, right? C-spine, T-spine, lumbar, and each segment's supposed to have a certain amount of degrees of range of motion.
Correct.
So if you took all the spine and each of them moved just hypothetically 10 degrees or 5 degrees, then the whole spine as a whole has a lot of flexibility and movement.
And that's what we call global movement. Yeah.
But if your T-spine is like mine and it's stiff as a board, my buddy our friend Kelly Starrett told me I had like top 3 stiffest T-spines he's ever seen.
I don't think that was a compliment, by the way. I'm just throwing that out there.
I don't think it was either. But at the time I was like, oh, cool. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
But because my T-spine, upper back, didn't bend through range of motion, like you said, I was forward, so that brought my shoulders forward. Then when I went to like try to get my body stacked over my ski, I would always kink, and I would ask my lower segments to take up the slack because the upper segments weren't doing anything.
Which becomes local extension. And that's where your spine is compromised, and that's where injuries happen.
Yeah.
Right? When you have a kink in a hose, the water stops flowing. Same thing. You have a kink in your spine, the juices stop flowing.
Yeah.
And that's where you're at a risk for injury. So is it just T-spine? No, I mean, there's so much tight hips also. So we sit at a desk all day. We sit in a car all day. We sit in our dinner chair. We sit at the couch, and our hips, the part anterior, the front part of our hip gets super tight. And that also puts our pelvis and our low back and our pelvis into a forward tilt, which arches your back as well. So there's not one, the thing about the body is it all works together. So if I were to say, you asked for, I think 2 or 3, I would say working for skiers on T-spine and overhead range of motion, being able to actually put your arms over your head. There's very few skiers I see that can do that without arching their low back.
Yeah.
Hips, and then also ankle flexion, having dorsiflexion, being able to bring your toes towards your shin.
Why is that important?
Well, I mean, I'm not a good skier, guys. Like I'm not incredible, but
You're okay.
But I'm pretty sure I can run the course, but I'm pretty sure that it requires you to flex your ankle, right? So when you're trying to get, what did you say? What was your cue about? Oh, coaches say to arch the low back.
Yeah.
Essentially what they're asking you to do, if I understand it correctly, is to get your hips to the handle, right? Can make that connection. So that
closer, yep.
Yeah, so that comes from having open hips, strong glutes, a strong core, and being able to flex your ankle, dorsiflex your ankle.
If you can flex your ankle, you can move your knees forward.
Your knees forward.
And then if you move your knees forward, your hips can be over your knees and your shoulders can be over your hips. But a lot of times I see, and you've seen this, where people don't have range of motion or their feet are too far apart on the ski, so their back heel's locked down. That's kind of a different case. But the lack of range of motion means but you inherently know as a skier you got to get your weight kind of stacked or balanced. And so a lot of skiers with no range of motion in the ankles end up kind of cantilevering their upper body over their ski on the cut to like get balanced on the ski, but they should be getting there with their knees moving forward due to ankle flexion. And if they can't do that, then they have to cantilever, and then that's how they get extra load on their spine. But also shoulder mobility, like I don't have that. And you've talked about that.
Which is also T-spine, right? That's all that they're part of it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, if you're rounded, then to get your shoulders back over your pelvis, you have to really arch something, and that ends up being the low back. What does a good program look like for people, like just besides the mobility and the flexibility and the warming up? What was the third thing you were going to talk about? Biggest mistake skiers make? Do you remember?
I mean, I don't know if I had one. You said 3, so you kind of put me on the spot. I'm trying to think here.
I mean, that's because I believe in you.
Oh, I'm going to say actually probably having, Well, there's a lot.
Well, you can.
Where do I begin? No, I'm just kidding. I'd say not having a plan when you're skiing. So being from an athletic background of endurance.
Talk about that. Can you just go through your resume of sports?
So grew up playing like all the sports, team sports you possibly could. Went to college.
You played, what's it called, curling too? That's a team sport.
Well, they don't have that in Rifle, Colorado.
Okay.
Or they didn't. Maybe they do now. No, we did. Let's see. I did all of this: basketball, soccer, softball, track, all of the things. And then in college, played soccer and ran track. Played softball for 1 year, but didn't really like it, so decided to do track. And then after college, I ended up getting into running. Did a bunch of 5Ks, 10Ks, half marathons, a marathon. Then I got into CrossFit and did okay at CrossFit for a few years. And then...
Can you stop right there, though? Because you always like to just glaze over the CrossFit stuff. So?
Yeah, I got 6th in the world in 2011 and won regionals in 2012, but had to withdraw from the games because I hurt my neck.
And how did that happen?
It always comes back to skiing, doesn't it?
It always does.
Yeah, in 2008, I was down in this place called Ski Paradise in Acapulco, Mexico, trying to impress the hell out of this water ski coach with dreads.
Yep.
And
5 to 6, you were running it for the first time. First time ever.
But wasn't it like the baby course? It wasn't the real course.
It was like, no, I think it was a real course.
Maybe it was the real course.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was like 10 miles an hour or something like that. But I was crushing it, basically. And then all of a sudden, I went out the front and came out of my ski, and my heels hit my head. And
we call that a scorpion.
We call that a scorpion. And the boat was there immediately, and we have it on video as proof. I'm like, I think I broke my neck. You're like, no, you're fine. That's normal.
Actually, I think Larry Malden might have said that.
Who introduced us.
That's normal.
It's normal. Yeah.
To feel like you broke your neck.
Yeah. So then competing in 2012, I started having a bunch of neck issues, and come to find out that I had broken my neck in the past, and that had to have been the time because that was the only time that I'd ever done it. But the X-rays showed that. So suffered some neck stuff, and as a result decided that CrossFit might not be my jam.
Yeah.
Well, that's not the only reason. I also really love to do fun things like camp and mountain bike and run across Colorado and things like that. So.
Not to get off on a tangent, but unlike water skiing, which is pretty specialized, CrossFit's pretty non-specific.
Right. It's the opposite.
You got to be good at everything.
You got to be good at everything, yeah.
So it pretty much consumes you if you want to try to compete.
Totally, yeah. And now even way more than back then. So,
yeah,
I'm glad that I'm not competing in CrossFit anymore. But back to that.
You've got experience, though.
I've got experience. And I've also I have my degree in fitness and wellness, and I've been a strength and conditioning coach for 15 years and am recently, in the last year and a half, a nutritional therapy practitioner. So trying to go for this holistic approach for wellness and athletic performance. So when it comes to water skiing, what blows my mind is that people don't have a plan when they hit the water, that they don't have a plan in season, out of season, pre-season. What are they doing to make themselves better at water skiing? And by that, I mean, is there a nutrition plan? Sometimes there is, sometimes there isn't. I'm finding at the pro level, at least. Is there a plan when you get on the water? Are you always just going and cutting the line? Or do you go in with drills? Do you go in with days of working more endurance-based? Do you go in days with working more competitive scenario? And I don't see any of that. And talking to you, I don't know that you see much of that either. So
no, I definitely don't see a whole lot of like programming specifically for on the water, which we can get to later. I mean, that's something I think needs to be addressed for sure.
And off the water, like that's a really big part of it too. There is not one way to do anything, but there are some ways that I feel might not be the most beneficial for people who are trying to be the best water skier they can be, and that includes just going and doing general fitness with CrossFit, or going and hammering out road bike races. There's specific energy systems that you use when you're water skiing that should be trained at specific times of the year, and So
this is a tangent, but speaking about that, oftentimes people look to like a example as kind of evidence, but it's really anecdotal evidence. I'll give you what I'm talking about right now. So Will Asher had a killer season, rode a new ski, worked on a lot of things technically on and off the water, but he also hasn't been in the CrossFit gym, which he had been doing for a couple of years, and he's been mostly on his bike. So if you just took that sample size of one, you'd say, oh, well, I just should be road biking all the time, and that'll make me a better water skier. 2, 3 hour, 4 hour rides definitely don't make as much sense for a 16-second or 18-second burst in the course times 6 or times 8, right?
Right.
So, I mean, there's anomalies. Willie is an anomaly, but I hesitate to think that that's the best way, even for Will. Like not to cut down what he's doing. I think there could be like he could augment some of what he's doing on the road bike and cut some of that out and put maybe a little bit of like specific stuff back in. Yeah. For
I didn't so we were just so fortunate to have the whole HO ski team here, and I got to speak with some of the guys kind of about what they're doing, but I didn't get to talk to Willie a whole lot about it. And I feel like there's a place in this in your season. If you're thinking of your season, your training season as a whole year, I feel like there's a place that you could spend hours on the road bike and it could be beneficial to you. But that for me is not going to be in your preseason or your in season. Those are different things. But off season and post season, that's a great time to spend some time doing a little bit longer endurance. If weight loss is a goal of yours, if you feel like being lighter on the ski, that could be something. Like it's just such an individual thing that way. But overall, when you're thinking of an energy system, you think that, and I don't know what everybody skis, but you guys are skiing essentially like 16 seconds in the course, and then you rest for 45 seconds. That's a sprint and then a rest, which is interval training.
So energy system, you mean like within everybody's body, there's multiple energy systems that you can train? So what are those?
So basically,
the basics.
So very, very basics. You have people that are going to be using fat more as your energy, and that's going to be more the longer duration stuff. And then you have people that are going to be needing that glucose right away for the fast sprint. That's the very basic way, to not go into too much detail. And that's what skiers are doing. They're doing a sprint. So you want to learn how to do that.
Yeah, how to optimize that.
But as overall health, this is where the argument comes in. Overall health, you want to be fat adapted. You want to be able to use fat in the long run.
Yeah.
So
speaking of fat nutrition plans,
I love fat.
I know, and sugar. The perfect cookie.
I do love sugar. Wait, we don't eat. Oh,
Freddie Winter, he has a nutrition plan. It's called the perfect cookie.
Freddie, I don't know you, but I feel like it's not a good decision.
Why? It worked for him.
I mean, again, everybody has their own thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, kind of hard to deny the results, just like Will on the road bike. But there may be a better way.
There might be.
Okay.
But then you have Michael Phelps, who just like ate McDonald's because he knew he could get it everywhere.
True.
Right? Consistency. Yeah, so you know that you're not going to have a lot of GI distress when you're trying to run 41.
More acronyms.
I mean, nobody wants to
GI.
Nobody wants to poo their pants when they're poo their shorts when you're doing
on the dock.
Ooh,
next
whoopsie
up.
Daisy.
Oh, sorry guys. Back everybody. Clear out. There's a floater.
Oh God. Line crossed.
What's GI? You just start throwing an acronym. CNS, GI.
Your gastrointestinal tract.
Okay. Just making sure we're on the same page. But about programming and about skiing specifically, like training days, I think most of the pros that I know, almost without a doubt, 90% of them just ski tournament sets the whole time, all the time. 32, 35, 38, 39, 41, 41, 41.
So I don't know. About the water side of it, right?
Well,
but my thoughts.
In CrossFit, would you do that? Would you every day? Would you go to your limit?
No, and that's a big discussion in CrossFit, actually, of people that would just go and hit it hard. If you are a CrossFitter, please don't go hit it hard every day in the gym. That's a terrible idea, right? Same thing as on the water. If you're like NFL, they don't go and put their pads on every day and just hammer each other. They don't do that. That's not a thing, right? They have days that are much lighter. They have days where they're working on drills. They have days where they're working on active recovery. It's not just game day every day. Yeah. That's crazy. In any other sport, if you think about that, what you guys are doing on the water, that's crazy.
But game day is always fun.
I love game day.
Yeah.
The adrenaline, the rush.
I know.
Yeah.
What else? I was going to talk about something else. I forgot.
I don't know.
I wish I had ferns to just look to.
To be between them.
Ferns to be between.
I wish I had ferns to be between.
It'd be nice.
It'd be nice.
Just a random, like, John Hamm walk up.
Oh, I know another thing we didn't talk about.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Taking time away from skiing.
Oh, why is that important?
Well, talk to Mr. Mateo, the professor. What do you call him?
Mateo? Flow Point Professor?
Flow Point Professor.
He's also got his own water ski podcast now, which is really cool.
Which you were just on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it's not out yet, but yes.
You will be on, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like your brain needs a break from it. You know, if you ever get burnt out with something, it's probably because you're spending too much time doing it. So taking a break from that makes you hungry for it again. So the mental part of it, but the physical part of it, water skiing is a very asymmetrical sport, which means that you're lopsided. One side takes the hit, right?
Yeah.
Right foot forward, left foot forward. If you're spending all of your days like that, without a doubt, you're going to end up in injury. Like that's, you've got to balance that out. You've got to take time away from it and let your body heal and let your brain heal. And yeah, that's another thing.
Okay, this is a curveball, but what about people who don't like, you do?
Yeah.
Could you hit them in softball?
I could, yeah.
Pretty far.
I mean, I like to brag. But...
I like a softball story. A good one. Remember in the 2011 CrossFit Games?
Oh.
When one of the events was a softball toss.
It sure was. I was so excited about that.
Yeah.
But little Michelle Kinney threw it farther than I did.
Little Michelle Kinney, about that tall.
Just a rock star.
Yeah, she threw it further, but you got like third.
I think
didn't you?
so, yeah.
Yeah, but can we talk about some of the guys?
I'm not putting names out there because I don't want to offend anybody or embarrass anybody. But yeah, we can talk about it.
Here's the setup. The setup was there's like 8 lanes or 10 lanes across the football field, and you had to throw the ball as far as you could, but it had to land in your lane.
Yeah, accuracy
and distance.
Yeah. You know, I grew up in small town Colorado where we were always playing in the dirt and throwing rocks in the creek and those kind of things. And so I thought like that's what everyone did.
I know. Until you got outside your little rifle bubble.
Well, you know, or not really. I feel like most people know how to throw, but at least somewhat. But some of the guys they were a little nervous about this event because they didn't know what to do. And so I was watching them. They were stepping with the same foot as the arm they were throwing. And that not going to provide a lot of distance.
Not in this world. Maybe in a different world with different rules.
Yeah, so I just gave him a little tip.
How far? You did?
Yeah.
You gave him advice?
Yeah, I just said step with the other foot, see how it goes.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Do you remember how far you threw it?
I don't.
I think it was over 150 feet.
I don't remember.
So that's a softball going over 50 yards. That's pretty good.
I don't remember what it was, yeah.
Well, I know it was over 150
fun, though.
feet. Yeah. The hell are we talking about before that? Softball.
Off-season training.
Yeah.
Taking time off.
Oh, curveball.
Curveball. Yeah, you
Wow.
You guys, this literally is a representation of my life. This conversation. Okay.
Okay. So there's people out there who don't they don't like the gym.
Yeah. I'm actually one of those. I don't love the gym.
Yeah, okay. But they want to, in the off season or in season, they want to like, say they want to like improve their strength and their fitness and their flexibility and their mobility and get stronger for skiing. Skiing's their main focus. What other things would you recommend without like being on the hook for it? Just like say in general, here are some other things that you might look at doing besides always going to the gym for your off-season training.
Yeah, well, snow skiing and climbing up mountains on your skis and snowshoeing, and that's all winter stuff. I don't know how people live in the snow. Yeah. Mountain biking is really great because it's kind of interval-based. Road biking, it's off-season. Road bike. Take a yoga class or all of them.
All of them. Jeez.
Would be good if you don't love the gym. There's a lot of really good online yoga things. It's really important to do some strength training though. So like get a weight and take it outside and do some squats with it. Do some mobility. We do mobility in front of our TV in the living room every night. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to take time away from your day. Just add it into your day.
Yeah, just push the couch back.
Go to the football field with your kids. park with your kids and do some pull-ups and monkey bars and, play.
Speaking of kids, have you ever seen a kid with really bad shoulder mobility or T-spine mobility?
More now than ever.
Okay, more now than ever.
But
that's fair because iPads and iPhones and crap. But like in general.
No, and not little kids. Like, we're made to move. Look at a kid squat.
Yeah.
A baby.
So could you sum up people's issues, everybody, myself included, just in the fact that we've stopped moving?
Yeah.
Like we're supposed to with our bodies?
Yeah, and that's a really big thing. The way that I train people we're not like busting out bicep curls and really, really heavy back squats every day.
Bicep curls are fun.
Yeah, and actually they serve a purpose in water skiing. But crawling on the floor and moving through shapes and seeing if you can crawl under things and lift up a heavy sandbag and take it somewhere. And just moving through full range of motion is really important. Safely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Through your full range of motion. And hopefully that range of motion improves.
Gets better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I had something else I was going to say, but I forgot.
And keep it fun. Like, that's another really big thing. Same with even just water skiing. If you're not having fun, why the heck are you doing it?
Yeah.
I mean, of course there's going to be times where you feel like you're grinding a little bit, but you got to find something that works for you and something that's fun.
Well, I think sometimes we get pigeonholed into a corner because you have training partners or ski buddies or somebody that, you run the lake or whatever. And some days you're over it, but you still go because other people are counting on you or whatever. So that can be good, but it can also lead to like overtraining and stuff if you're not listening to your body.
That's another thing. You probably need to cut it. I don't know if we need to. We need to stop.
We're just going until we don't go.
So I don't know that I necessarily believe in overtraining. I think it's just mostly under recovering, right? So if you are a person that skis 5 days a week and you also hit the gym 3 days a week and you work a 10-hour day and you have 3 children at home and a wife and life is crazy, you're likely not recovering. Yeah. So, are you sleeping? Are you sleeping at least at the very, very minimum 7, hopefully 8 hours a night? Yep. Are you eating good food? Are you staying hydrated? Are you addressing your stress levels? Are you breathing? Are you doing some type of meditation? Or what are you doing to bring yourself back to center? If you're just charging it all the time, there's going to be a breaking point.
Yeah.
We run on adrenaline until we can't.
So what's that called? Adrenal fatigue?
No. Well, I mean, that is a thing. Adrenal fatigue is a title that has been given, but it's not a real name. It's actually called HPA axis dysfunction, but yeah.
More acronyms.
Hypothalamus pituitary adrenal dysfunction.
All right.
Yeah. Axis dysfunction.
So it sounds like you know some stuff. I know you know some stuff, but I'm just rhetorically saying it sounds like. Do you want to get into any of that, the nutrition side? Or are there any kind of basics that might lend themselves to like a quick note?
Yeah, I mean, Freddie, don't get mad, but don't eat processed food or packaged food as much as you can. The basics are to eat real food. I, for a long time, was in the paleo world, and I thought I was kind of raised in a dogmatic approach to nutrition, that paleo was the only way, and I do not believe that, and I'm really thankful that I went through my schooling to realize that there are a lot of really great ways to eat and different for everyone. There's not one way. I do believe there's some wrong ways to eat, and that is a lot of sugar and a lot of processed food. And unfortunately, a lot of our food is marketed as healthy, but when you look at the ingredients list, it's like a punch in the face. So it's, if you think like you can grow it in your garden and it was alive at one point, meaning it was an animal, you're probably doing pretty good. Yeah.
You lost me at paleo.
Oh.
As soon as you said paleo, I just remembered back to, remember the first time we ever went paleo?
Well, I do,
it was like 10 years ago.
So I started at this gym, working at this gym here in Chico, and the owner was a paleo, or is a paleo guru.
You want to talk?
Rob Wolf.
Wolf.
Rob Wolf. So he is a paleo guru, and he definitely had us trainers preach that to everyone. Mm-hmm. And so I came into this world as an endurance athlete where I was told to eat oats and whole grains, and I was surviving literally on carbohydrates for the most part. I mean, I ate meat and veggies and all of that, but way high carbohydrates. So Marcus and I decided that we would do the on-ramp, which was the beginning level course, and go paleo at the same time. And Marcus is such a trooper. Such a trooper.
I'm here, so you can refer to me.
Yeah, you're such a trooper.
Yeah.
and you lost 18 pounds. And you had like maybe 3 to lose. So he was skinny.
It was rough.
You were rough, yeah.
That just came down to
And
not
then,
eating
can we
enough.
talk about what happened the first day we went up to Tahoe afterwards?
That was tough. That was tough.
We went up with a bunch of friends afterwards. Like, we'd been so clean. No sugar, no grains,
Yep.
basically meat and vegetables and sweet potatoes. That was all we had eaten.
Just
And a lot of
super
fat.
clean. Yep.
Really clean. We felt really good.
Went on a
I was
snow ski
performing
trip.
like great. Went on a snow ski trip up to Tahoe / a little bit of a fun trip at a cabin with some friends.
Might have had
and
a
might have drank a
drink
little
or
bit
two.
in a hot tub
Yep.
at elevation.
Yep. Next day.
Good Lord.
Next day, we weren't the same people. We woke up in somebody else's bodies.
Yeah, I mean, we're
It
pretty
felt terrible.
fit.
Yeah.
But we went out on the mountain and went down one run and both went back to the van and slept all day.
Luckily, we had the van because we could like just sprawl out.
Oh my gosh, that was so bad.
Yeah.
So don't do
So,
that.
Don't go paleo. I mean,
Well,
sorry, don't
no,
go.
no,
don't
paleo's still
not
really
go.
good. It's a good. It's
I didn't
a really,
mean that.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Okay.
You know, it's like a kind of learn about it.
Yeah, learn about it. And the big thing is that is bio-individuality. So every one of us requires a little bit different stuff, you know? There's keto is the big thing. I have friends that have gone keto and one of my friends, cauliflower kicks her out of keto, which is crazy, right? So everybody's body reacts differently. And just listening to your body, that's a really big part of it. Like following your intuition.
Yeah. Although, to circle back around, I think people do follow their intuition.
To the cookie jar.
Well, to the cookie jar.
To the protein cookie.
Like Pooh Bear.
What's it called?
Perfect cookie.
Perfect cookie.
Freddy. Or they follow their intuition, and your intuition's only as good as your knowledge base and your experiential learning.
Mm-hmm.
So like following your intuition and just going and hammering out sets every day or every week, that's kind of what we're talking about. Like
Right.
there's a few things that I think skiers as a whole could get better at, and one of them is having a plan when they put their feet in the binding, so that before
Yes.
they put their feet in the binding, so that they have a game plan of what's going to happen on the water, or at least what their goals are,
Yeah.
what they want to accomplish.
Yeah.
So free skiing too, because
Yeah.
you free ski, you love it,
So fun.
because you can do 60 turns instead of 6,
Yeah.
like D-Dub says.
Little endurance training.
Winter
It's
garden.
hard.
It is hard.
Guys, if you haven't done that, get out there and do it. It's hard.
One of our favorite places, Bullards, is like a great place to do it.
Yeah. Or Lake Powell.
Yeah, but why? I mean, why should people free ski?
Because it's fun. Because you're not chasing buoys. You're just going to go out there and have fun and feel it.
Do you feel any crossover, any advantage from free skiing than when you come back and ski the course?
I mean,
No.
no, but I'm not like, I've skied like 20 sets this whole year.
Yeah, but
So-
I mean, like, if you hadn't free skied, do you think you'd still have the stance and the balance? Because remember, last couple sets you skied
That's
were
true.
like, you're just like,
I mean, I don't like to brag, guys, but I
You're-
did run the course at almost 30 miles per hour.
you were killing it.
Yeah.
And I mean, you at one point you were at 34, but you haven't been there because we haven't been skiing. My
Yeah.
fault. But all of a sudden you just go out and you're crushing buoys.
Yeah.
And I feel like it might have had something to do with free skiing. I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe. I think it's just fun, you know?
Yeah.
I grew up on 2 skis, like the great outdoors. I was John Candy
Yeah.
at Lake Powell, and
Yeah.
that's what it feels like to me. It gets me back to my childhood skiing
Back to
with
your
my
roots.
mom and stepdad and behind this big 4 winds with a wake as tall as I was, and it was great.
Yeah.
So,
So
like, yeah,
yeah, so it's important.
it's important.
What else?
I think one thing is if you want, I don't know who all listens to this, what your guys' goals are,
Like
where you're
3
at.
people.
Well, all 3 of you. If you guys have aspirations of being the best water skier that you want to be or that you can be, it's going to require a plan, you know? If you're going to be the best business owner that you can be, you're not going to just wing it and hope for the best, right? Like you're going to have a plan. And so that plan isn't just for 5 months out of the year. That plan is the whole year round. That plan is,
Sure.
and it doesn't mean you're, part of that plan is letting water skiing go maybe for a while, you know? That plan doesn't mean you're always thinking about water skiing. That plan is knowing that you have a plan and that you're comfortable and confident in what's happening. And that's something that I've worked with Corey with. Like right now, Corey and I, what is it, October, we won't do any programming. I mean, I have him doing stuff, but together we aren't connecting until January.
Yeah.
Because he's taking this time to mountain bike and do yoga and do the mobility stuff that I've set him up with, and to do the basic strength stuff that I've set him up with. And come December, January, we start hitting it hard for strength, and we're getting him strong, and we're getting him mobile, and we're getting him ready and stable to go get on the ski. And come after Moomba, we start really dialing in more ski specific training. So it's knowing that the plan that you're on is all working towards that ultimate goal of being the best water skier that you can be.
Sure. Well, I feel like a plan, and I'm not one to talk because you know how good I am at planning.
So good.
But I feel like a plan like that in a sport that isn't normally like that, skiing, can help kind of simplify people's approach and kind of alleviate some of the stress of like, what should I be doing today? Am I doing it right? Yeah. What could I be doing better? Why am I not getting better?
Right.
Why does my back hurt? Why are my shoulders hurt? You know? And you can essentially safeguard yourself against that, but also have a game plan that you can kind of just like let that go and just focus on doing the things that you know you need to be doing based on your program. And then 6 months or a year down the road, you iterate. You say, this worked, this didn't, and you get better.
Right.
But, I mean, can we say like, where do people go for a plan like that?
You can just, like, contact me.
Contact you.
Yeah. JennyLaBaw.com or Jenny@JennyLaBaw.com. For my email.
And we may or may not be working on some stuff in the background.
There might be something coming at you guys soon to make you guys the best skiers. But from an individual approach, we both offer individual remote coaching. And we have some fun things. If you ever have seen videos of the Ridge, maybe you want to come visit us sometime and water ski and train in my gym.
Pretty cool place.
Pretty fun.
And there's a few things to do here, although you kind of have to drive, right?
But we're doing that tomorrow.
Yeah, we're going to
mountain bike tomorrow.
Mountain bike.
But really, that's kind of what I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I think what we see is there is a big missing piece of people being able to be the best water skier they can be, and that's taking a holistic approach to training on and off the water.
Yeah. And there's even stuff that we haven't really talked about yet, but like...
A lot of stuff.
Oh, it's a lot.
Yeah, like I'm going to probably be the only guest on for a while.
You think?
Because that's all we can do. No, I'm just totally kidding.
Because we're just going to keep rolling.
Because we're just going to talk about this.
Are we going to be here the rest of the night? I'm kind of hungry.
I hope not. I'm hungry, and the dogs are too.
My fingers hurt. So
your back's going to hurt.